all out for 150 after losing the toss. It was the perfect start. When you thought it couldn't get worse, it just got worse. Let us have Perth. This is meant to be our free win. At this rate, we're going to get about 4 more 3-day tests. They say it's a hope that kills you, and man, that couldn't ring more true for the first test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Media coverage 24/7, a camera following Kohli for 10 days straight in the lead-up, and Australia ready to prove doubters wrong after a shaky summer last year, and it was all going perfectly. Stark was bolting in and landing it on a length after a wide for 4. Hazelwood had it on a string. Have you heard of Jaiswal? Doesn't matter. He was scoring runs for fun against every opposition he played. Well, obviously he can't do it here in Australia. Bang, gone for 0. Oh, Kohli has a great record in Australia. Oh, good try. He can wait till the England series next June. Bang, gone for 5. Richard Pan, fair enough, you hit probably one of the best sixes I've ever seen, but it doesn't matter. We have Pat Cummins setting up a plan who's going to get you in 5 balls. Off you go for 37, all out for 150 after losing the toss. It was the perfect start. It was almost too good to be true, and in fact it was way too good to be true, because just hours later, in just a matter of hours, we were 7 down for a third of India's score. At the end of day 1, we had nearly managed to get bowled out. In just 27 overs, Bumrah, Siraj and Rana had filled their boots and essentially bowled Australia out of the game, except for that little glimmer of hope. That glimmer of hope that was Carey, the only bloke in Australia that has played red ball in the last 18 months, and he was sitting pretty on 19. He just needed to get to 50 to give us a glimmer of hope, get somewhere close to India's total. And what happened? Well, Jasprit Bumrah happened again, and he got Carey out first ball. But this was the story of the game, a game in which almost every ABC commentator and pundit predicted it would go Australia's way. Although given 95% of the pundits are Australian. But either way, you know how a Perth test match is going to go. It's fast, it's bouncy, it's perfect for fast bowlers, but they have to be Australian, and this is where India got it all wrong. You cannot come out and bully us like you did at the end of day 1. It is not okay. This test is meant to give us memories of Mitch Johnson. This is meant to be 2014 Ashes. Mitch Johnson bowling thunderbolts. Batsmen are scared of him. Batsmen are retiring. They don't know how to play him. This test match is a guaranteed win for Australia. It always has been. Fair enough, you might get Sydney where it turns a bit. You might get the Gabba we've won before and humiliated us before, but let us have Perth. This is meant to be our free win, and you gave us the Australian treatment. You gave us the Australian in our own backyard. It's like watching 2 animals fight in nature, and you want to step in and help, but you're not allowed, and you just have to let nature take its course. It was unwatchable, but that course was scary, and it was mean, and it was all Jasprit Bumrah. It was probably the best opening spell that you'll ever see, apart from maybe the second innings when he did the exact same to us. Mick Sweeney caught one of the best balls I've seen that's moved 21 centimetres on debut. Marnus probably could have batted for 5 days and he still wouldn't be in double figures. Smith thought he was taking a 30-yard free kick in the Premier League, patting that one away. When you thought it couldn't get worse, it just got worse. And when I'm talking about getting worse, I'm not talking about getting bowled out for 100. I'm talking about Jaiswal's innings, because it was probably one of the best innings I've seen on Australian soil. To be coming off a duck and watching 20 wickets fall for 250 runs, to then shut out the game completely with KL Rahul, who was also amazing, but to bat for 90 overs and completely ruin the game for Australia was unbelievable. The partnership between Jaiswal and Rahul was honestly perfect, and 200 runs just completely ended the game right there. The problem is, it's almost too perfect, because now they got to figure out how to get Gill and Rohit back into the side. But if his 150 wasn't amazing enough, if it didn't stamp enough authority, if it didn't scare Australians enough, then he also had to go and out-alpha Australia on Australian soil to the tallest bloke in the team while being 5'6". As Stark faces a bouncer from Rana in the first innings, he lets him know how fast he can bowl, and he's essentially going to bounce him out. And Jaiswal not only hits 150, which I think speaks for itself, but he also walks up to Stark and tells him you're too slow. I mean, if standing in the sun for 60 overs without a wicket wasn't embarrassing enough, then having 5'6" Yashasvi Jaiswal hammer you to all parts of the ground for 150 and then tell you you're too slow, if that doesn't destroy the mentality of Australians, I don't know what will. But hang on a minute, it gets even worse. Because now we get to go to Kohli, the man who was meant to be retired, the farewell tour. He's finished, he's done. He doesn't have it anymore. Well, guess what? We've played him back into form and he scored one of the easiest hundreds I've probably ever seen. And now, let me get this out the way. Kohli is a great player. It was a great innings. He completely controlled that from start to finish. But my God, was it easy for him. I mean, let's just picture this. Imagine you're in your 90s, you haven't scored a ton for a while, you're a bit out of form, and you think, if I could get to 100, what bowler do I want bowling at me right now? I would probably be picking the number 3 bat for Australia, who's a part-time leg spinner, who's been brought on as a strike bowler to bowl bouncers at you. I mean, if that's not the easiest way to go to your 100, I don't know what is. It just seemed too easy for him. For a bloke that is struggling, he just got to turn over the strike for fun. And to be fair, of all players, Kohli has the skill to do that. And it was a beautiful innings, but it was ugly watching. But I guess that sums up the whole game, doesn't it? Oh, and also while I'm on the Kohli part, this is probably a perfect time for a bit of subscription farming. So if you are enjoying the long videos, please subscribe or comment, let me know what you think. And then we get to go to the declaration, some more fun. Because once India declared, I think every Australian knew exactly what was going to happen. Yeah, India just scored 500 and probably could have gone on to score 1,000. Yeah, it was probably the best batting conditions you were going to see in the 3 days that were played. But if you're a true Australian fan, you never count out the collapse. And with 20 minutes left in play, I'm pretty sure everyone knew exactly what was going to follow. In fact, I was so confident that I put in the group chat when I was talking, let me find it. It's right next to the Bumrah, check Bumrah's passport message, because I'm pretty sure he's also Australian. Here we go. And I quote, "What are the odds of being 3 down within 20 minutes?" Now, I actually got that wrong. In the end, we did end up 3 down, but I overestimated in the end because I'm pretty sure they ended up 3 down within 18 minutes. That is a top effort from Indian bowlers to get 3 in 18 minutes, and a top effort from Marnus Labuschagne because he obviously caught wind of the message and decided to kick one on middle peg. But again, on a serious note, it was literally more of the same. It's like when you're playing under 14s cricket, you get sent into bat, you look over the other side of the field, and out of the car is a seemingly 14-year-old that also happens to be 6'5", has a beard, has a moustache, and just hit their PB of 140 kilometers on the speed gun. It just seemed unfair. It's like watching the Benchwarmers movie where the 40-year-old turns up and pays the umpire $20 to say I'm 12. Not a single batsman had any clue of a single ball that Bumrah bowled that night. Not a single ball. Every ball looked like it was going to get a wicket. It was one of the most brutal spells, again, apart from his first innings spell, that I will ever see. And Australia are going to have to figure out something fast because at this rate, we're going to get about 4 more 3-day tests. So where does Australia go from here? Who do they drop? Who do they fire? And who needs to retire? If you have a look on Facebook and Twitter, then you would think probably everyone bringing Constas and Nessa 2 against 11, they'll win the lot. But on a serious note, there is a lot of talk about dropping players, but I highly doubt, and Pat Cummins has actually come out and said, I highly doubt we'll change the team. And it seems like I'm the only fan that agrees. I mean, who are they realistically going to bring in that we can confidently say will score more runs than Khawaja, Smith, or Marnus? Like, there's a lot of talk about dropping them, but there's no one in first class scoring consistent runs to get into the team. I would think Marnus, Smith, and Khawaja are going to come good before throwing a debutant in front of Bumrah. We've seen what happens with McSweeney. Do we really need it to happen to another player? But who knows? I might be back here in another week having a crash out. So subscribe and let's see what happens.